Hello ladies and gents, it's finally here. The new version of Manor Lords have been out now for about a week. I've played this quite extensively in the beta version and I'm really happy with the changes and I can't wait to show you. We will start a brand new series after the success of the previous one. Although it's very soon since the previous one finished, I promise you this will be very different given to how many changes exist in this update. So let's start a new game. In this case, I'm going to choose this lady, and I will call it Lady Sambina from Somp Gaming, my channel. I will choose this as my shield or coat of arms, and in terms of colors, I want to go with red here, and let's go with a yellow, like this. And we will be the Kingdom of the Snail, or the Snail Kingdom. Why not? On our last playthrough, we did Restoring the Peace, which basically the goal of the game is to, as the name suggests, conquer every region. On this time, I want to move away from that and I want to do something different to mainly use some of the new functionality that we see in this game. There is some other things here, survival attacks, there is conquer your rival and so on. But in this case, I want to do the Fractured Realm. The Fractured Realm is basically kind of like your standard RTS game style where you've got AI against you. And in this case, we have 4. But I will actually reduce it to only 2 because I think 4 is a bit too much. And I will have them be slightly further than me, just so I have the opportunity to go around. Let's go through the settings and change them a bit. Now, end goal is domination, eliminate all other lords by claiming their territory. AI opponents we put 2. Off-map adversary, we don't want the Baron, we don't like the Baron, we dealt with him and he's gone. AI aggressiveness, let's leave it as balanced for now. Radar frequency, I think I would like it as medium. Radar free years, let's leave it as 2. Initial bandit camps, I will say 2, and then random bandit camp spawn limit, I will say 5. We like lots of bandit camps because that gives us influence. Starting season C, I will leave the same. Starting supply standard, royal tax normal. This I will leave the same. Residential requirements fine, food spoilage not fine, and so on. Medium penalty, yeah, and then underground water, weather events balance. So all of these I will leave as they are. The only thing I've changed, I basically decreased the AI opponents and I made the raids a bit more frequent because personally I think the raids actually help you in your game because you get influence and so on. I think last time we played in the high peaks. Yeah, we did. So let's try a different one. We've got Devil's Hill, we've got Jagged Cliffs. I think this one has a lake in the middle. Kind of like this. I think I'll go with this one, the lake in the middle. I don't think I've seen anyone playing this region. And let's scatter them a bit more. I don't like them to be close to me. Not that, because I just think it's better if they're a bit scattered. Let's get started. Alrighty, ladies and gents, we're here in the village of Burenbach, which at the moment is just a mere tent with the ox in front of it and a few of our families just basically don't knowing what to do with life because they only have tents to live and they have no food. During this series, especially the first few episodes, I will assume that people are familiar a bit with the game, but I will also try to point out how the mechanics work because ultimately, I might have some new people who are just getting to know this game. I will also point out some of the changes, the big changes that we see. So expect a bit of a slow pace as we begin, but then hopefully we'll pick it up as we go through. Immediately we get our familiar getting started tutorial. Again, it tells you some useful information such as up here you've got your supplies and you can immediately see we have a brand new UI, which is incredible. I've played with it a lot and I think this is probably the best difference between the previous version. I'm a big fan of more information, clearer information and so on. In this UI we can see our supplies which are split between food and fuel. It also shows us the consumption rate depending on the burgage plots, which are the houses in this game. Then you've got the living space. So the living space basically again a lot more information, a bit overwhelming actually. It just tells you that at the moment we have total population of 10 which is equivalent to 5 families. And these 5 families require houses, which at the moment we have none. And it also kind of tells us that the food that we have out and about, it will spoil because we need to put it into a warehouse or a granary. This is a very common scenario with this game because it tries to be as realistic as possible. So if you leave some food out, it will spoil. The first thing I like to do before I build anything is I like to zoom out and have a look at my map. So we have a giant map here, and we get a new region view here. This view shows who controls each region and each region's resource deposits. To expand, you must press claims to others' regions by spending influence. Okay, won't worry too much about how you get a new region now, because that will be down the line, but just know for now that the way you do it is by getting by using influence. Now, immediately what I see here, which I believe is a new thing, is you can actually see the resources across the different lands with this impressive new artwork, which is new in this version. For example, here you can see this lady here is dipping, I don't know what she's dipping, into the salt. We have some sort of a fish here. We've got stone, which is a rich stone deposit, which is awesome, because a rich stone deposit means we can actually set up a stone trade, which will give us lots of money. We have clay, and we also have berries. Not unlimited berries, but we have berries. So far it's really good. Up here we've got iron, we've got clay, mushrooms, stone, we've got the bandits there, so on. What I'm looking for, oh, eel is another really good one. I think it's a new type of food, and it's a really good one to sell. So this area already I know is really good. What I'm looking for is for unlimited iron, because iron is really helpful when it comes to lots of things, but primarily it's helpful with building tools and weapons. And then we have clay, stone. I don't see iron or unlimited iron. Stone. Let's have a look. We have wild animals, clay, stone. Where is iron? Oh, here. Oh, he has unlimited iron. Okay, so this AI has unlimited iron, so we'll need to take them out. We have stone, but we don't have any iron. Okay, so that would be a bit of an issue, because iron is really useful in this patch. The next thing I like to look at is our fertilities, because the way this game works, as you know, or if you are new to this, you have different fertilities depending on where you want to do your farming. You have your water, underground water, to put your wells and so on. And it says here about placing buildings and so on. Let's leave that on the side for now, and let's have a look at the fertilities. Underground water, great. So there's underground water really close to our tent, which is good, because usually you want to build close to underground water. In terms of fertility, emmer is actually not bad, and for those who don't know, emmer is actually wheat, but it means that I need to clear out this area and convert it into farm. Flax is quite bad. It's okay here, but it's not great, so I would say it's quite bad. Barley, again, not great. Maybe a bit of here, but that's it. And rye is the one that usually has the best fertility. So it looks like this region will primarily be emmer or wheat and rye. Maybe we can try for some flax. Usually there is one region that has incredible farming, and that's probably this one. So this one has really good farming. Don't see any other one. Let's see. What about here? Yeah, so it looks like the one on our left is the one with the best farming. So that might be something we can start targeting. It looks like we might struggle a bit with not having iron, but we can potentially counter that by the fact that we have unlimited stone. So let's see. Okay, so it looks like this will be a stone village focused. Let's start by building our first building. The first building you usually want to build is the logging camp. This helps you get logs, which are the building blocks that help you build buildings, I guess. The reason you want to do it first is because if you start building other things, you're going to run out of the 8 starting logs, and then you're basically going to block yourself because you have no way of making any more logs. Let's build this. And then it gives you kind of a warning here that when placing a new building, the required construction materials need to be physically bought to the construction site. Okay, it just basically tells you that they need to be transferred. And oxen are necessary to haul heavy materials such as timber. Okay, you can purchase more oxen. Okay. It also tells you that anyone who is not on a sign will build. Cool. Let's speed up time. We see our oxen. I think this is a new model of the oxen. Goes in and immediately starts building. Then we also get a tutorial of how you build roads. Roads is one of the most impressive feature of this game. I think it's like one of their unique selling points. You can just basically, if you can dream it, you can build it basically. So this is where we'll build our first logging camp. And I want to actually start cleaning this area because if you remember, there is really good emmer fertility here. So this area will basically be farming down the line, and rye should be good as well. Yeah. Okay, so once we build a building, and that's what that tutorial was saying, we can actually assign a family. Now, to assign a family, you can either press E and Q to take it out, or you can just press the plus button, and immediately we see some of the new changes. The big change here is that some buildings, including the logging camp, now have a maintenance status. So every year, you need to spend one tool to do the maintenance. If you don't have the tool, it will eventually break down. And this is why iron started becoming very, very useful in this game, because now you need tools for maintenance. There's also some other things like the yield and productivity, but I don't want to overwhelm us for now. Let's just get it started. I'm going to momentarily put 2 families just so we can get as many logs as possible. And I'm going to start thinking where I want to place my initial town. Flax is also good here. Emmer is good here, and rice here. So I think I'm going to... Let me draw like an imaginary line, if you like. So I think here it would be the farming. Yeah. So seasons and game speed. Okay, we'll come to the seasons in a second. And then we'll stop it kind of here. So this is kind of my imaginary line of the farming. And actually the other thing I want to do is I want to come here and draw this area, which means they will start clearing out this area. This will be our heavy industry. It will be farming, it will be the stone, and maybe down the line we can also do something with the salt. I don't know. Which means it leaves us with the living space down here, probably, and also down here. Now, here we have the fish, which is really good as a food source for the family. So maybe we can consider that. Let me review again where there is water. Now, there is water running down here, and there is water running down here. So probably we need to... Probably we can start building some houses along the river, or along this way. And... Maybe the town center can be here. Yeah, we can have the town center here along the river. I think that would be nice. The way you build houses, I mean, this tutorial explains it. You basically draw 4 points onto the map, and then these get converted into houses. Now, the houses have a very interesting mechanic, which I honestly love about this game. Again, it's another quite unique functionality of this game, I think. Let me just start, let time play. The way it works is, for example, if I draw... I don't know, a square here, you see it has started placing some houses. Now I can choose to increase or decrease the houses. As I decrease it and there is more space, you see 2 things here. One is you see that not only you will build a house, but you will see a little house here which is a plus. It's like an extra cabin or a shed that you can have another family. So basically one house can now function for 2 families. So even if I have, 5 houses, it will actually house 10 families. The other thing which is really, really important is this space here, the working area. Now this area, it means that I can convert it to something that will produce, will give a produce for the city. For example, it can be a vegetable farm, it can be a chicken coop which will give eggs, it can be an orchard which will give like apples and all sorts of stuff, and so on. Usually, you want to have really big plots to build vegetable gardens, because the bigger the plot, the bigger the yield. So for these ones, I think I will start my vegetable plots here. And you see they're very, very big. And I'm going to have, I think, 3. Maybe... Yeah, let's do 3 big houses. And this will be our big vegetable plots. And once you build them, then they take, I think, 1 log each. No, 2 logs each. And builders will start bringing them in. Let's put the road to make it a bit easier now. The next thing we need to build is we need a way to get some fuel. And fuel here comes in the form of firewood, but down the line we will also be able to convert it into coal. So let's start with the firewood. The firewood, much like the logging camp, uses logs. So we're going to place it next to it. So we're going to have some sort of a wood industry or logging industry, if you like, here. Although down the line it will be moved because this will become our farm. And let's do something like this, kind of like a mini medieval roundabout. So our priority when we start the game is we need to house our families, because if winter arrives and we don't have houses, we're screwed basically. So let's build another 2 houses here. Let's flip them and let's make it into 2. Okay, so these will be our big houses that will have the farms. And the reason I put them here is because I think it would be really nice to have the proper farm fields here along the way. And then down here to have the actual vegetable farms and so on. Okay, burgage plots. Homeless people move into available burgage plots immediately. Click the burgage plots to view It's a residence. So if I click here, now we have the residence. We have the Hans, Katerina, and Jobst. And I don't know which family this is. Oh, they're woodcutters. So there is the woodcutting family that lives here. New families join your settlement when approval is over 55%. We'll talk about approval in a second. And there is available living space, and a marketplace is necessary to provide variety to the burgage plots. Let's take a pause and have a look at the menus, because the menus have been completely overhauled since the last update. Here, obviously, each menu has a new tooltip. This shows us the unassigned families, and as we said before, unassigned families are our builders. These are the assigned families. 2 of them are in workplaces. These are the 2 that are in the logging camp. And by the way, if I press tab, I can see that I have 2 of them here, and I see my oaks and so on. Here we spoke about is the living space. You can see here that once they get built, we'll have 4 available living spaces, which is what we want for 4 families. Sorry, I misspoke. What I mean here, so the +4 here means that for the houses that we have available, we can add another house, because remember, all of these houses have the potential to have a small shed to for people to live in. This is the approval. We won't see much of the approval just yet, but basically the more the approval, the more people you get. And how you control approval is by meeting the demands of your people, or if you tax them, you lose approval and so on. This is the public order, which, to be honest, I'm still not sure what you use it for. I don't think it's used for anything on this version. Then regional wealth, this is the money of our people. Regional wealth is something that we need to constantly keep high, because we will use this to trade, for example, to buy iron and so on, to upgrade houses and things like that. We also have the treasury, which is our own as a lord, or as a madam, I don't know what you call the lady lord. As a lady, we have our own treasury. So this is what we own, our own money, which we can use to buy soldiers and things like that. This was a huge problem I personally had before, where I couldn't know where my animals are and what they're doing. Now you can see that I have 1 oxen, and in bracket it's 1, which means it's free, or it's used for building. But you also have the other animals. You have the pasture animals, sheep and lambs. You have backyard animals and so on. So this is incredible. This didn't used to exist and is amazing. So huge thumbs up. Now this one we spoke about. This is the name, which will change at some point. And then here we have some big changes. Most of the materials now have been broken into subcategories. So you see we have woodwork, stoneworks, and so on. Here we have the food, the fuel, crafting materials, and things like that. I won't go one by one because I will bore you. I will just pay attention to the food, because the food has had a huge overhaul. Now we have so many categories of food, and you will see down the line when we're meeting the demands, different foods meet different houses need different categories to be happy. Enough blabbering, let's continue with the building. The next thing I need to do, I need a constant supply of food for my people. The closest food source I have here is the fish. So in this case, I'm going to build a fishing dock or a fisherman's hut. I'm going to build it close to the fishing here. And I'm going to bring a road here to the main, what do you call it, the cross path. Once that's built, we'll assign a family. Let's make this as probably high priority. Yeah. Let's speed up time. Now, once we have a steady supply of food, the next thing we will need to have some sort of a. Actually, sorry, give me a second. I don't like this road. It's too let's do it like this. Yeah. So now it's a proper crossroad, and then it will allow us to have better houses here. So, what I was saying that. The next thing we need to do is we need to store our equipment and our food somewhere. And the way you do that, there is 2 types of storage, if you like. There is the granary, which specializes in storing food. And there is the storehouse, which specializes in storing materials and stuff. Usually you want these to be somewhere in the middle of your town and the middle of your industry, because you need them to be close to the industry, because that's where the materials come from. But you need them to be close to your town, because that's where your market will be. And these the storehouses and the granaries supply the market, which therefore supply the people. So I think the logical place to put it is probably, thinking about down the line where the farm will be here, is probably to put it somewhere here. So let's stick in the warehouse here. Let's put it here, and let's put the granary next to it. And I want to put like a mini road that comes like this. I do like this kind of, I don't know what to call them. I call them medieval roundabouts, but I just like it. I just feel like it's representative of what it used to look like. The fisher hut is built. Let's now, there we go, running off of food. Let's assign a family immediately to start working on it. Try building a hunting camp near wild animals, a fishing hut near shoals. Okay, so just basically tell us that we need food. Now, we should have a steady supply of timber, so let's take out one family. We have one extra family to work on the buildings. We also have 3 houses already built, which is awesome. The other thing you notice, we have the day-night cycle. We had it before, but I don't think I've used it on my previous series. Let me know if it gets too dark and I can disable it. I just thought that it would be more immersion. Like, for example, just look at this scenery. What a beautiful, beautiful lake, not lake, river going into the lake. We'll go down here, gets into the massive lake. Amazing. I don't know if they will ever add any boats or anything like that, but yeah, this is beautiful. Along this way, I will have the houses, I will have the chicken coops, and also the goats. I don't remember what they're called. And I will probably stop it here. And that's too many houses. I'm not going to build that many. Probably I will do... Let's do 5. 5 big houses. And these will have the chicken and so on. Okay, the granary has been built. We always need to have someone assigned to the granary, because that's where the... yeah, that's how you basically distribute the stuff. I'm going to come off here and draw like a bit of a weird shape, if you like. And then this will be my market area. I like to keep the shapes quite natural, if you like. There we go. This explains how the market works. A well-supplied marketplace is the lifeblood of your settlement. Place the flexible plot of the marketplace. Granary and storehouse workers will set up market stalls automatically. Select the marketplace to check your supply and demand and supply capacity. Burgage plots closest to the marketplace get their residential requirements fulfilled first. You can prohibit goods from being supplied to the marketplace in the advanced tab. Increase your supply capacity by assigning more families to a granary and a storehouse. So we'll see a lot of this in action, but for now, all we need to care about is that we want to build our market here. And why does it not let me build it? Let's try that again. I think it thought that I was... Okay, so how many? Yeah, okay, we have 29 stools. Probably need more down the line, but for now it's okay. So let's do it with 29. Let's have a look at the well situation. Messed up a bit here, but it's okay. The reason I say messed up is because I should have put the well here. But it's okay, no worries. We can put the well here for now, and maybe down the line we can move it. Although I might not use it immediately, I want to build a second hinging post, which will allow us down the line to get a secondary ox. So in this case, I'm going to build it here. The resources change depending on the season. Usually at this season in spring, you can see here the fertilities are growing, or like the fish is growing and so on. Then in summer, you can harvest it. And usually in winter, they just basically get frozen. For example, you cannot fish. Actually, I don't know if you can fish here. I know in lakes you cannot. But maybe you can here. Who knows? The important thing is the harvest season, which there's no point for me to explain it now. I will explain it when we come to it, like how it works. Now, people are hard at work, chopping the wood. I just love this game. It's incredible. It's so immersive. It's the definition of an immersive city builder. Next, we can think about building our stone quarry to get some stones. So the way that stones work have changed slightly in this version of the game. Before, we used to just have one stone mine and then you just get stones out of it. Now you have a deep mine, like here, where you can build a quarry, which workers extract rough stone and rumble stone from the underground of rich stone deposit. So where you use it will come to it, but it's just worth noting it. If it's not a deep one, then you need to build a stone gatherer camp. We won't do that just now, actually, because I realized you need planks for that. So it sounds like planks is something we should be aiming for. I just want to make sure I'm not forgetting anything key before I move on. Planks essentially use the logs and they get converted into planks. I don't remember the ratio, but we'll see it shortly. So for that, let's build Sawpit here next to the logging camp, so they're close. The woodcutter's lodge has been completed, so let's now assign a family here. And because we are now out of families, we're going to take one family out to keep building. Where are our families? We have 2 here. We can probably... Yeah, we have quite a lot of food, so we can probably take a family out of the fish. A common thing you see, at least the way I play, is I circulate my people around, especially in this early stage where we don't have a lot of families. Down the line, we have tons and tons of families. I might just not care too much about it and just, leave it there. But when we start, I usually circulate them around to be more efficient. And down the line, you will see me circulating them depending on the season. Awesome. Our first burgage plots have been built, which means all of our families have moved in and we no longer have any homeless people. And I think what I will do, I will start building farms in these burgage plots. To do this, we need planks. Oh, we got a new message. Let's have a look. A strong militia is paramount to the survival of any settlement. Luckily, a shipment of weapons has just arrived, and you will now be able to create your first militia banners to serve you and protect your people. However, we will need more weapons to equip all the people as the settlement grows, either by making them or importing them from other lands. Okay, so what it basically means is that now we have been given 220 spears and 20 large shields. And with that, we can actually create our first militia unit. All of my people that are available, so in this case I have 5 families, 2 males in each family, father and son, so that's 10, and they will take as many equipment are available and they will create a unit. In this case, you see the limiting factor is the recruits are missing because we don't have enough families. Let's continue with the supply. Let's put 1 person in the storehouse, and you see as soon as you put someone in the storehouse or in the granary, this little icon comes here which says that they're setting up a stall, and you can actually see the stall here. They're probably selling the fish. I don't see the fish, but that's what they're probably preparing to sell. Yeah, and the same happens with materials like firewood and so on. Now, with firewood, I will actually have them... I won't give them an area to work. They can just work around here, because the goal is to clear out this area so we can farm as soon as possible. Let's set the priority of the Sawpit to high. The other thing I realized I made a mistake. I need to set this as very high because I want this to be built as soon as possible. Because at the moment we are not able to accept any families. I could also increase the capacity of this burgage, which means it will accept 2 families. But having an extra house also helps. The other thing worth mentioning is in this new version we have the charcoal kiln by default. In the previous version, for anyone who played the previous update, you had to discover this through the development point, which no longer exists. We'll come to a second later on what they have been replaced with. The charcoal kiln essentially lets you create more efficient more efficient fuel by converting firewood into charcoal. So what I think I will do, I will actually build the charcoal kiln somewhere. Let's put it... maybe we can put it here. Yeah, let's put it here. I will set it to low though, because even if it gets built, we don't have the families. I spoke about the development points being replaced. What have they been replaced with? They have been replaced with, again, it's called development, and they have been replaced by, I don't remember what they're called, banners or origins. Yeah, so these different kind of banners or different panels, if you like, they give you the origin of your village. So if you go in here, you can actually read the different origins of each people of your story and decide what you want to do. Now, I won't go through it in detail, but let's, for example, focus on one. If you were to go with these origins, it means that you have increased blacksmith efficiency, increased weapon export value, equipped militia, provide approval, affinity, local handyman bonus. So what all of these things, as you can see, it will be good for a region that will specialize in weapon production and so on. Now, usually there is a good choice for depending on the fertilities you have on the region. In this region we have stone, so we should probably be looking at something around stone, even farming, although this won't be a full-on farming region. The main thing we have here is stone, and actually I just realized we also have a rich salt deposit, so we could build something around this idea. The night has come and we can actually see our people have now extra space to move in. This 3 here means that there is up to three new families can join us. And we have now actually got market food variety and amenities, which gave us plus 7% approval. And remember, above 55%, it means we'll get a monthly migration. Advanced production. Gain greater control over your production by selecting the advanced tab of a production building or artisan workshop. Reserve workers will not work until you have more of the resources in surplus in the region. To Production limit. Workers will only work if you have less of that resource in surplus in the region. Artisan workshops often have a production focus that allows you to change. So artisans we won't see yet, but what is talking about production limit and so on, the Sawpit is a good example. If I come here and I look at the advanced, remember, this is using timber to convert to planks. If I put a reserve, it means that, and this is now 10, it means that it will not process timber unless I have more than 10. So I just basically have a reserve of 10 timber around. Then planks is kind of the opposite, the production limit. It will basically stop working once it reaches a certain production limit. So in this case, I want to set it to 50. Now, what I like to do in the early beginnings when we don't have a lot of families, I like to go from one to the other. The next thing I want to focus on, I want a way to make some money. And the way to make money, original wealth, is through trading. Is the fastest and not easiest because it can get a bit tricky. But yeah, so to trade, the way it works in this game, you have a road that is called the trading road, or the King's Road, sorry, where traders go by often. And as they come by, they can exchange goods depending on what you said in your trading post. So let's build this to see how this works. I'll set the trading post here, and I also have a hinching post next to it, and the warehouse is also close to it. And we can see that our lovely region has starting to get in shape. It's very early days, but we already can see the big houses, not the big houses, sorry, the houses with the big gardens that will essentially convert into farms. Then we have the clearance area, which will clear up for our farming town. And also we're starting to build our commercial center, which will be our trading. This is a lovely start to this amazing game, and I can't wait to get to the next episode. I hope you enjoyed this first episode of the series, and I hope you're enjoying this game as much as I am. Thank you again for watching and for the interest. If you want to stay tuned for any new episode of the series, feel free to subscribe to the channel to get notifications. And I will see you in the next episode. See ya!